The sun is finally out. Pretty cool shirt there. And I got this sucker from Goodwill, 99 cents. But I digress. The reason I'm wearing it is because this has been a crazy, not just crazy week, crazy couple of months of rain. Solid rain, it seems like, here in Florida. And finally, this weekend is nice. It's been one of the nicest weekends. Of course, it's hot and humid, but we can't have it perfect. I'll take that over rainy and some of these crazy lightning storms and just wild wind that has been blowing through here. So really excited about that. Hopefully all of you were able to get outside and enjoy the day, enjoy the weekend, and hopefully catch some fish. I'm Joe Simons, one of the co-founders here at Salt Strong, and this is the weekly newsletter where we update you on everything that happened the past week, because we're putting out so much new content every single week to make sure that you don't miss anything, and also kind of tease you on what's happening here this coming week so you don't miss anything awesome and relevant. So first and foremost, let's talk about the Insider Fishing Club. Here's some of the main tips that we put out last week. Number one, and probably the most popular one, was how to approach and fish a grass flat like a pro. This is with Captain C.A. Richardson, and we actually get out there on a flat, and he shows you exactly how he would fish it, exactly how he approaches it, which is a really important thing that not enough people are talking about, where he positions his boat, and how he uses the wind and the currents to help push him over the flat, the exact right spot. Really, really cool, and he shows you how he would fish it that afternoon. The other one was how to find tarpon on your fish finder. Peter Miller gets on his actual fish finder and actually shows you what a tarpon looks like. Really, really cool as you're going over, and just help you find a whole lot more tarpon this summer. And it's amazing with technology these days on how clear you can see a tarpon on a fish finder. I was blown away when I saw that one. The next one, how to not get skunked when you're fishing with live bait. That's with Captain Peter Deeks. That was a really popular one. And this is just one of those tips. If you've been out there, we've all been there, where you're just having a bad day and you want to catch something, you want to get a tight line. He shows you exactly what he does. And a lot of guides have to do that, right? There's some days you're just not that productive, and yet they want to make sure their clients have a good time and are actually catching fish. You know, maybe not world record fish like Peter's known for, but just quantities of fish, and he gives you some awesome tips on that. The next one, how to manage and maximize your kayak. Tony Acevedo, who spends more time on a kayak than most people do in their lifetime, gives some really cool tips on things that he wished someone had told him when he first got into kayak fishing. So some really cool ways on managing and maximizing your kayak for fishing. And then finally, some pre-storm fishing, all black drum, redfish, trout, all the tips that Tony uses when he's trying to find good fish, finding good spots right before a storm. That's our Insider Fishing Report. Now, on the public side of things, Luke did a couple of reviews. One was the Edge spinning rod review, talk about all the pros and the cons. And actually, I take that back. Luke did one, and then Tony did the Jackson Coosa kayak review. That's a new kayak Tony's been testing out for the last couple of months, and it's the Jackson Coosa kayak, all about the pros and cons of what he likes and dislikes about that. So if you're looking to buy a kayak or a new rod, make sure to check out those two tips. We also had the best 4 tactics for catching fish near the mangroves. Awesome tip there on just maximizing your time around the mangroves. And then we have the best fishing knots. What we're going to do, because we come out with so much good content, and some of this content is a year or two old, and you know, it's just tough to even find on our site. So we're gonna start bringing back some of the popular stuff every week, and this is one of the best fishing knots of all time, ranked strongest to weakest. That's one of our most popular posts. We're gonna keep that there, and we also added that quite frequently. We're actually updating that with new knot tests, etc. And then the complete guide to catch, photo, and release fishing. This has come up a lot, and it will continue to come up a whole lot more as new studies are out there on really just not just conservation, but just treating the fish right. I think as fishermen, we have a duty. If we're going to keep the fish and clean it and eat it, obviously great. But for those instances we're not, which I think is probably the majority of time now, We're out there just in terms of just the sport of fishing. It is so important and critical that for our kids and our grandkids to be able to enjoy the sport like we are, and just to make sure we still have good limits, that we're not out there just being irresponsible and killing fish, to make sure we're handling these fish and releasing them properly to give them their best chance of survival and mating, and just sticking around for a whole lot longer so that we can catch them again in the future, catch their kids and their grandkids and their great-grandkids. So please check that one out. Really important stuff. And a lot of the stuff that just wasn't known or wasn't really known to be that important just a handful of years ago. Finally, the top 5 shortcuts to catching snook in Florida like a pro. That's one of our most all-time top shared and top viewed snook fishing tips. And it's summertime here, snook fishing time, especially here in Florida and parts of Texas. So check that out if you want to catch some more snook this summer. Now on to the Fish Strong podcast. I want to thank all of you so much. We were just on iTunes and did a search for saltwater fishing, and guess what is the #1 podcast in all of iTunes for the term saltwater fishing? That's right, it's the Fish Strong podcast, and it's all thanks to you and how you can help us out more to reach more people. And if you want to back our mission and our cause to get more people out fishing, then please go subscribe to the Fish Strong podcast, either in iTunes or the Google Stitcher, and like it. I mean, give it a review, I guess is the same thing. Review it. Tell us what you think about it, and shoot us a message if there's anyone in particular you want us to interview. We're really taking this seriously now. We're seeing just how many people are listening to it. It's mind-boggling, and just how fast this is growing. So please check out the podcast, Fish Strong Podcast. In this latest one, we had Joey Antonelli on talking all about pier and jetty fishing, and we talked about tips, we talked about etiquette, and even some really awesome, crazy stories that happen out there on the pier. And then finally, if you're not part of the Insider Fishing Club, I urge you to take advantage of it. We just created a new app, so we have an insider-only app, and it's where the whole community exists. If you need questions of things, it's there. And if you want to just help out other people, which is the big mantra of the entire club, then I urge you to check it out. A really awesome app, a place where you can put all your fish pics, your fish videos, know that they're not going to get shared or seen by the public out there, and just know that it's going to be a positive, fun place, that there's no cussing on the app, which is something I absolutely love. It's a place you could be proud that if your boss or your spouse or your kids came up behind you, that you wouldn't be embarrassed to see smut and spam and cursing and all that kind of stuff on there. So please check that out. That's just one of the many advantages of being an insider. And of course, finally, you're just helping support fishing. It's helping support this whole movement. And none of that free stuff that I just told you about exists without people who are joining the Insider Fishing Club. So thank you all so much again to the insiders. And finally, Father's Day is coming up. And if you don't have a gift yet, let us know in the comments down below if you're interested in a special Father's Day deal to become an insider. Maybe you and your father become insider members. We give you a special deal. So let us know. We haven't even come up with anything yet, but I just realized because my wife said, hey, what do you want to do for Father's Day? I was like, oh, I kind of want to go fishing. And so we're doing that. And then I thought, well, heck, you know, this is a good opportunity to reach out to our people who aren't insiders and see if we can come up with a cool Father's Day special or promo for you to get you and your father, if you're a wife watching this, to get the loved man in your life, or a daughter who wants to get their father something, especially a few people last minute like me, who I've not gotten my dad anything, but he's already an insider. So let us know. Let us know in the comments if you're interested, and we'll try to come up with something and shoot you a private message. So let us know. And any other tips that you all want to see, let us know. This entire movement is getting better every week because of you. All these tips, most of them are ideas we hear from you. So let us know what you want to see. We'll be glad to go out there and do it. And then this coming week, stay tuned for some really cool things. We're going to have some new wade fishing stuff, a little bit of fly fishing. We brought on a new guy named Trey, Mr. Trey Dyer, and he's helping out a lot with the content. He's a really avid, hardcore fly fisherman, so he's going to be helping out with some fly stuff. And CA will be bringing a really new, cool tip, and we'll be working on a new thing with Captain Dylan Hubbard as well. So be looking forward to that. Mr. Dylan is the man when it comes to offshore and nearshore. Captain Peter Deeks and Peter Miller will be back with a tip as always. And of course, for your insiders, we'll have some insider reports that go right in to your little cool trend analyzer tool. That's it. Click down below to see all of the tips from last week, and let us know in the comments how we can help you out, how we can better serve you and make this community even better. That's it. Have a great weekend. Bye.